embedded at least one large language model directly into a customer-facing product. We are not talking about chatbots duct-taped onto a website. We are talking about AI that writes legal contracts, diagnoses radiology reports, and generates production code that ships the same day. So what exactly is an LLM, and why should you, as a developer, deeply understand how it works rather than just calling an API and hoping for the best? A large language model is a deep learning neural network trained on massive text corpora, sometimes trillions of tokens, to predict, generate, and reason about language. The key word is large. We are talking hundreds of billions of parameters that encode statistical patterns across essentially all human-written text, available on the internet, books, scientific papers, and code repositories. In this tutorial, you are going to get the full picture. We will start with the definition and architecture, move through the main types of LLMs, then build a real working JavaScript application that streams responses from a live LLM API, adds context memory, and handles errors gracefully. You will understand not just how to use an LLM, but why each architectural decision matters, so that when something breaks in production, and it will, you know exactly where to look. By the end of this video, you will be equipped to choose the right model for your use case, write maintainable LLM-powered code, and apply senior-level optimization patterns. Let's get into it. Before we write a single line of code, let's make sure you understand every tool in our stack and why each one earns its place. Choosing the right tools upfront saves you hours of refactoring later, so pay close attention here. First, you need Node, JS 22 or higher, Node 22 ships with native WebSocket support, and the Fetch API built in. No extra packages needed for HTTP streaming. You can download it from nodejs.org or manage versions with NVM. Second, we are using the OpenAI Node SDK version 5, which is the 2026 release that supports GPT-5 natively, includes built-in retry logic with exponential backoff, and provides first-class TypeScript types. Install it with npm install OpenAI G5. Third, we are pulling in Zod version 3.224 for runtime schema validation of structured LLM output. When you ask an LLM to return JSON, it does not always obey. Zod lets you define the exact shape you expect and throws a clear error if the model drifts. Install with npm install Zod. Fourth, .env version 17 handles our API key securely from a .env file, so you never accidentally commit secrets to GitHub. Install with npm install .env. Finally, grab a free API key from platform.openai.com. If you prefer an open source model, you can swap in Llama running Llama 4 locally. The SDK interface is identical, which is one of the great joys of 2026 LLM tooling. Create a project folder, run npm init, y, install those 4 packages, create a .env file, and add your key as OpenAI API key. You are ready to build. Alright, let's build the foundation of our LLM application. In this chapter, we are setting up the OpenAI client, defining our model configuration, and creating the message history array that gives our assistant a memory across multiple turns. Each of these pieces is small, but understanding why they exist at this layer will prevent a whole category of bugs later. Look at the code on screen. The very first thing we do is load environment variables using .env. This ensures process.env.openAI API. Kaya is populated before we try to instantiate the client. If you skip this step and hardcode the key, you will leak it the moment you push to GitHub. I have seen this happen to senior engineers, so do not skip it. Next, we instantiate the OpenAI client. The SDK reads OpenAI API automatically from the environment, so the constructor call is clean. We also export it so other modules can reuse the same instance rather than creating multiple connections. Then we define our model config object. This is a single source of truth for the model name, the maximum token output, and the temperature. Temperature controls creativity. 0 means deterministic and factual. 1 means imaginative and varied. For a customer support bot, you want 0.2. For a creative writing assistant, you want 0.8. Centralizing this means you can tune the entire application by changing one object. Finally, we initialize the conversation history array with a system message. The system message is the most powerful single prompt you will ever write. It defines the assistant's persona, constraints, and response style. Everything the user sends later is stacked on top of this foundation. Get your system message right, and half your prompt engineering problems disappear. Now we are building the heart of the application. The function that sends a message to GPT-5 streams the response token by token back to the terminal and stores the full exchange in our conversation history. This is where the transformer architecture you read about becomes tangible code. Start by looking at the chat function. The first thing it does is push the user's new message onto the conversation history array. This is how multi-turn conversation works. Every API call sends the entire history so the model can see context from previous messages. This is different from a stateless REST call, and it is why context window size matters so much. GPT-5 supports a 256,000 token context window in 2026. But every token costs money, so you will want to truncate old history in production. Next, we call openai.chat.completions.create with stream set to true. This returns an async iterable of chunks rather than waiting for the entire response. Each chunk contains a delta, a small fragment of the assistant's reply. We pipe these chunks directly to process s.write so the user sees words appearing in real time, exactly like on chat.openai.com. This dramatically improves perceived performance even when total latency is the same. After the stream ends, we have a full response string assembled from all the deltas. We push that onto conversation history as an assistant message. Now the next user turn will include this exchange, and the model can refer back to what it just said. Finally, the function returns the full response string, so callers can do further processing. Maybe pass it to a Zod validator or log it to a database. Clean separation of concerns right from the start. Raw text responses are great for chat, but most production applications need structured data. Imagine you are building a medical triage tool that asks GPT-5 to classify a symptom description, and you need a guaranteed JSON object with a severity field, a recommended action field, and a confidence score. If the model returns prose instead of JSON, your downstream code crashes. This is where ZOD and structured output transforms your reliability. In this chapter, we add 3 important layers on top of our streaming chat. A ZOD schema that defines exactly what JSON shape we expect. A wrapper function that requests structured output using GPT-5's native JSON mode. And a robust error handler that differentiates between API rate limit errors, context length exceeded errors, and network failures. Look at the code. We define a triage schema using ZOD object with 3 fields. Then we call openai.chat.completions, create with response format set to JSON schema, and pass the ZOD schema converted via ZOD to JSON schema. This tells GPT-5 at the API level to constrain its output. It is not just a prompt instruction, it is enforced by the model's decoding process. The response is then parsed through triage schema.parse, which throws a ZOD error if anything is missing or the wrong type. The try-catch block checks for specific OpenAI error codes. A 4029 rate limit error should trigger exponential backoff and a retry. A 400 context length error should trigger history trimming. Any other error gets logged with full stack trace and rethrown. This 3-way error handling pattern is what separates a proof of concept from a production system. Do not skip error differentiation. It is the #1 thing that junior developers miss. You have a working, structured, error-handled LLM application. Now let's talk about the techniques that separate developers who build demos from developers who build systems that scale to millions of users without hallucinating, blowing up the API bill, or leaking private data. The first technique is Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. Instead of relying solely on what the model memorized during training, which has a knowledge cutoff and can hallucinate domain-specific facts, you embed your proprietary documents into a vector database like Weaviate or Pinecone. Retrieve the top K most relevant chunks at query time and inject them into the prompt as context. This is how enterprise tools like GitHub Copilot Enterprise and Notion AI 2026 provide accurate, up-to-date answers about your private codebase or company wiki. Second is prompt caching. Both OpenAI and Anthropic offer server-side prefix caching in 2026. If your system message and the first few user turns are identical across requests, which they often are in multi-tenant SaaS apps, cached prefixes reduce latency by up to 80% and cut costs proportionally. Structure your prompts so the static parts come first. Third is token budget management. Count tokens before every API call using the TikToken library. If the history plus the new message exceeds 80% of the context window, trim the oldest non-system messages first. Never let the model silently truncate. You lose conversation coherence. Fourth is model routing. For simple classification tasks, route to a small fast model like GPT-4o Mini. Reserve GPT-5 for complex reasoning tasks. A routing layer that classifies query complexity before dispatching can cut your API costs by 60% with no quality loss on easy queries. Fifth is eval-driven iteration. Every time you change a prompt or model, run your full eval suite, a curated set of 50 to 100 prompt response pairs with expected outputs before deploying. Tools like Braintrust and Langsmith 2026 make this a one-command CI check. Let's bring everything together. You now understand what an LLM actually is at its core. A transformer-based neural network with billions of parameters that models the probability of the next token given all preceding tokens. That simple objective, applied at scale across trillions of tokens of training data, produces a system that can reason, code, summarize, translate, and generate structured data with remarkable reliability. You know the main types: base models that are raw next token predictors, instruction-tuned models like GPT-5 that have been fine-tuned on human feedback to follow directions, and domain-specific models like Gemini 2 for healthcare.